2009 Radio. This is the weekly music podcast where every week we normally take one band and we listen to all of their records and we rank them. But this week we're doing something a little bit different. We are getting into hip hop season and we're going to break it down by the decades. So my name is Tyler. Way out there, hundreds of miles away, is Jeff. While you're listening, go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, give us 5 stars, share all the posts, tell all your friends. So yeah, once again, we are in hip hop season. A couple white guys talking about hip hop. And
boy.
The best we can, So, like I said, we're starting hip hop season with the 80s, with 80s hip hop, a little bit of late 70s, but mostly 80s hip hop. And then, the main episode, we're getting into Public Enemies. It takes a nation of millions. Wait, it takes a nation of millions. I always fuck this one up.
It takes a nation of millions to hold us back.
There we go. But anyway, yeah. What we're gonna do is we're gonna give our favorite albums from the 80s. You and I listened to a lot of hip hop over the last couple weeks.
Lots,
way more than I've ever listened to. So yeah, we're giving our top 5 subjectively, and then we also made an objective list of what we think are the most influential, the best hip hop records of this decade. We watched documentaries this week. We watched that one on Netflix. What was it? It was called Hip Hop
Evolution.
Hip Hop Evolution. Great documentary. That first season, excellent. Watch that.
It's better, baby boy. It gets better, baby boy.
So yeah, it's great. But so let's get into this subjectively after listening to all this hip hop, looking at top 100 lists, all that kind of stuff. What are your top 5 going from worst to best? Top 5. Well, actually, am I going first? Subjective?
You were going first, correct.
That's right. See, this is confusing when I go first.
If you just do the normal way, actually the normal way of me going first.
Yeah, the normal way is you going first.
Okay, well, I can go first if you want to just do that. That way, I already feel like it's going to cause problems.
Yeah, like it did when we had Skip on the podcast and we tried to do it the opposite way, and
it was not going to work out.
It's too confusing. We're 8 years into this. Why change it up now, right?
No.
So yeah, what are your top 5 80s hip hop records? Go.
Yeah, so these are my personal favorites, my top 5. This is my least best favorite of the 80s, and that's Eric B. and Rakim's Paid in Full. That is my 5th best personal subjective one, yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, this is an early record to yet again change the scope of the genre. I didn't know this until this week, but Rakim's aunt was singer Ruth Brown, which I've never heard of, but I guess she was wildly popular in the 50s, just a R&B singer. So he was always exposed to just music. And it was kind of cool. He said later on that when they dropped their first album, he asked her, because he valued her opinion. And this is somebody that was like popular in the 60s or the 50s, right? Like coming out and listening to hip hop in the 80s. And he said that she loved it. She's like, oh, this is fucking cool. Like I like the rhythm that you have. It's very poetic. I like everything about what you're doing. I was like, damn, that's so supportive. That's fucking cool.
That's cool.
I like it.
That's really cool.
But it's just this is a totally new sound for hip hop. It's slower tempos, smoother vocal deliveries, and Rakim just he throws out quotable line after quotable line after quotable line. It's just everything he fucking says. It's just you instantly remember it because damn, that was a perfect verse. That was a perfect string of words together that I can memorize instantaneously. Everything about this record is just so important. But Rakim just took rapping to a whole new level. Like the way he rhymed, the syncopation, internal rhymes, external rhymes. It was poetic. Highly influential to Fred Durst too, who's taken a lot from hip hop and especially Rakim in this record.
And I think they sampled quite a few things from the record as well, right?
Yeah, like my melody, check out my melody, like that. But then also it ain't no joke, like that's from this record too. And so you should get a pen, write yourself a little note so you don't forget again. But Fred Durst, dude, fuck off, all the people out here. Fred Durst is the same kind of shit, dude. Internal rhymes, external rhymes. Dude knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
Goofy, but it's purpose and deliberate. And it's fucking amazing. So yeah, Eric B. and Rakim, my 5th best record. My 5th favorite.
5th favorite. There you go.
We're just say it like that. 5th
favorite. And also, we're gonna get into our personal favorites as well as objectives. But then we listen to a lot of other stuff too that's worth mentioning and worth talking about. So we're gonna go through that at the end after we get through these lists. But what's your number 4?
We're not gonna go back and forth.
Oh yeah, we can go back. Yeah, fuck yeah, let's change it up. So yeah,
that's how we always do. That's right.
Not with the ranking. Well, I guess with the ranking, yeah, we do. What am I talking about? Jesus Christ. This is going to be a long one. No, not really. My number 5, My fifth favorite is NWA Straight Outta Compton.
Compton.
So I've always liked hip hop since like around late high school. I've liked hip hop, but I don't really know the history. You've thrown a lot of stuff at me that I've really liked, and some of it just sucks. But so my list is probably going to be weird to a lot of people who love hip hop, but whatever, I don't care. NWA Straight Outta Compton. This one, like the second gangster rap record after Ice-T, from what I found out this week. And this is just it's pissed off, it's angry. Eazy-E's stupid as hell. The worst part of the group, hands down. Ice Cube's part.
Think I love her.
Ice Cube is the best part of this group, hands down. With Dre's beats, it's unstoppable. It's fucking unstoppable. The lyrics are insane. They're just fucking insane. And there's nothing like it. Nothing after this sounded like nothing's ever sounded like this NWA record. And people tried in the 90s, but nothing ever hit quite as hard as NWA's Straight Outta Compton. It's a fantastic record and a true evolution. One of the biggest evolutions in hip hop, I believe. So, and I'm sure most people do.
I mean, I guess I'll talk about it here, but it's not on my subjective list, but it is on my objective list. My biggest gripe with this, and we did it on the pod, but is it's very top heavy, and it immediately falls into like the electro kind of hip hop sound that is just, dude, it's a one trick pony sound, and it's tried and true, and it's been done, and it's over. But
and that's what Dr. J was doing before he was in NWA. He was in an electro pop band.
It was goofy as fuck, and that suit that he wore was pretty goofy.
It was,
but it's of its time, and that's fine. Yeah. But these guys borrowed a lot too from Public Enemy, and it's just it's a good record. And if it wasn't for just like 3 songs, this would be just absolutely nothing. But like Fuck the Police may be like the GOAT of hip hop tracks. It may be the best. It might be. I don't know. Yeah, I do think it is. I think Fuck the Police is the best hip hop song that's ever been. But damn, dude, it is wild how crazy that is. And we'll talk about Public Enemy later on and how punk rock that was. But to come up with a song that's just like Fuck the Police, it's
pretty crazy.
That's something. Yeah. For a bunch of black kids in like the hood, that's something, man. That's ballsy.
I mean, that just goes to show what it was like back in the 80s and shit, and how fucked up it was. Still is in parts, but yeah. Also, some of these albums we've done on the podcast before, so that's one reason why we're not doing. I'd like for the episode of the week, we're doing Public Enemy because we've already done Straight Outta Compton. We've done some of these records, De La Soul, things like that. So if you want to go listen to those, go for it. Feel free to do so. Do it. All right. So what's your number 4? Your fourth favorite hip hop record of the 80s?
My fourth. Let's see. Scroll. My fourth favorite. Oh, De La Soul, 3 Feet High and Rising. This is another one we did on the pod. This is such a rad record. And it's not the first one to do this, because like the Jungle Brothers kind of like started this thing, and like the Native Tongues Collective started, and they were all coming together. And it's kind of fun to hear the hip hop evolution, like the documentary. And it's kind of fun to hear like where things were in like the late 70s up until like the late 80s, and just like how many different sounds were coming out. And a lot of it was in New York, and these guys are just feeding off each other and taking little pieces here and there and making it just a little bit better, or tailoring it to their likes or whatever borough they are from. But this is fun. And I'm always, even though I like gangster rap a lot, I do like goofy hip hop, probably like almost as much. And I like just lightheartedness. And the skits on here are super solid. They don't like just waste time. They add a little bit of nuance to the overall sound. Like you probably could take them out, but I don't mind the skits on this one compared to like what skits would become in hip hop.
Boop, boop, boop. Yeah.
Boop, boop, like a fish underwater. This is good. This is a good record, but we did this on the pod too. So
we did. All right. My number 4 is something we've also done on the pod, and that's DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince, Rock the House. I don't care what people say about Will Smith or whatever. This record's it's great. I love Golden Era, that stupid bouncy kind of flow and rhythm that the songs have. I love it. And this album is fantastic. I enjoy it every time I listen to it. I used to have it on vinyl, but then I gave it to you, or I sold it to you or something, or I traded it to you for something. I don't remember.
You did.
Traded to you at some point.
I think you traded me this and JT
Justin Timberlake
for artist.
That's right. Oh, and Skrillex too.
Damn,
Remember,
you give me all three of those?
I give you all three of those for artists because you wouldn't give it up. You wouldn't give it up.
It's a no-brainer. I held out for more money. That's a really lopsided trade. I don't know why you did that.
We'll get into that later at another time. Worth it for me. But anyway, DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince. I think, like I said, this record is fantastic. It's everything I want. Yeah, it's at this point, I think it was 87 when this record came out. This style had already been done over and over countless times for the last 7 years, but they added this goofiness to it, that the storytelling that was just so dumb, over the top, almost cartoonish at times, and it kind of takes you out of it. It's just fun. It's just a straight up fun record. And DJ Jazzy Jeff, great fucking DJ. Like, he really, I think he's a really underrated DJ. And he gets a bad rap because he's been with Will Smith for 40 years now. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's a fantastic record. I don't care what any hip hop heads or any, purists say. It's a solid.
There's nothing wrong with this. This is not in my subjective or objective, because this is still early in hip hop lore, so it gets a lot of passes. But
yeah,
it's just like, dude, when Will starts rapping about how other rappers are just looking up big words in a magazine to sound smart, it's like, bro, like, why are you already like going against the grain here of a genre of music that is like for black people, started by black people, and you're already attacking other people? Like, come on, man. Like, you're better than that. And he's also clearly exploiting this new thing for his own benefit, which is to be an actor. And nothing wrong with that, as I see it, because hip hop belongs to black people anyway. But like, come on, Will. Come on, man. There's nothing different between this and Rapper's Delight, except this is just better.
This is way better than Rapper's Delight, yeah.
But like, the goofiness.
God, I didn't even know the story behind Rapper's Delight until this week when I was watching that Hip Hop Evolution documentary.
Everybody fucking hates that shit.
Everybody hated it, and they were essentially a plan. They were put together by a label.
Sylvia Robinson.
I had no fucking idea.
Yeah.
And then they toured the world. Like, they made so much money off that song. And they made a record after, I believe. But yeah, it was that one goddamn song. But then if it wasn't for that song, there wouldn't be a lot of hip hop that you hear in the 80s.
That's totally true.
But yeah, I had no idea the story behind that.
But like the old school DJs, they fucking hate that song. They hate that groove. They hate everything about it.
Well, because who was it? It wasn't. Fuck, what was it? Cad and was it Cad from like the Furious 4?
Grandmaster Kaz.
Yeah, Grandmaster Kaz. He was really pissed about it because one of the guys in the group what is the group now? I can't even. Sugar Hill Gang. One of the guys lifted the lyrics from him, straight up stole his rhymes, and then later in that song talks about how fucked up it is to steal somebody else's rhymes after he literally just did it. That's pretty good. Yeah. But anyway, that's my number 4. This has actually been a really, really fun week. I've learned so much about hip hop. It's been a fucking even though a lot of this music is the same. It's been a lot of fun.
A lot of this shit is dumb.
It is, but it's fucking fun.
And long and boring. And the 80s is just not my main jam of hip hop. But whatever.
So what do you got for number 3?
Number 3. I gotta keep going back and forth because I wrote my notes for yours, and then on mine I said see others. So I have to go back and forth. My number 3, 1, 2 is Beastie Boys, Paul's Boutique. That's my third personal favorite 80s record. And I mean, have we done this? We have not done this. We haven't done any Beastie Boys in the new format, have we? I think we talked about this.
No, I don't think, because the only one we've ever done is Paul's Boutique. And we've only ever done Paul's Boutique, and I think that was right before we started the new format.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, Paul's Boutique, everybody knows what this is. And it's dude, what the fuck? There it is. So like this is big for several reasons, and it's important for several reasons. Like its sonic landscape, what it did for the scene, right? Allowing the sampling of music to be the actual expression of the art rather than a part of the process. Like that's what kind of separated this from everybody else that came before it. And it was a sleeper hit. It was kind of panned by critics, and very much like in the Pinkerton way. It was panned by critics, and it didn't really sell well and nobody knew what the fuck to do with this, but people in the know, like the DJs and people in hip hop fucking loved it. They were like, holy shit, not only is this great, but now I am inspired by this and I want to do my own Paul's Boutique. And then lastly, like, god damn, dude, the maturation, the Beastie Boys maturing from License to Ill to this is just like night and fucking day. And the more I listen to this, the more I just don't like License to Ill. It's just, I know I've been like a long advocate for it, and it's just like, dude, that record is just goddamn near stupid, but it's still fun. Yeah, Paul's Boutique I think is a damn near perfect record, if not perfect, and it's just another kind of like step in that ladder to like hip hop perfection and just ultimate expression, and I love it.
Okay,
so good.
It is good. It's a fantastic record.
Dude, there's just like there's so much in hip hop that is just about like expression, and it's just like the whole like lifting and sample. I guess we'll talk more of that when we get to the Public Enemy, but that's fine. Go.
All right, my number 3 is this one is a new one to the list. I literally added to my list just before we started potting. It's EPMD, Strictly Business. I had never heard this record. I don't remember ever hearing this record before until this week, and I listened to it twice. I mean, this record is fantastic. This is like the bridge between the goofy like 80s golden era hip hop to like conscious hip hop almost. Like the flow is so much better. There's just a lot more going on sample wise, and it's just I need to spend more time with it to express my feelings better about it. But I thought this record was fantastic. This is where I had Curtis Blow, the Curtis Blow record, Curtis Blow's Curtis Blow. Because that's really like the proper first hip hop record. At least I think it is. I don't fucking know.
I mean, it really kind of is like record, like front to back, song structures, like everything about that Curtis Blow record is pretty good. And The Breaks is also like one of the best hip hop songs of all time that defines this sound. I think The Breaks defines this sound more than the Sugar Hill Gang song does. But
I would agree.
Dude, that Curtis Blow record, like that Bachman Turner Overdrive cover, like what the fuck is that?
Is that the one where he's singing, right?
I get up every morning on the long walk, taking care of business, and then he's got this slow ballad jam thing on there.
It's that.
Like, oh my god, Find the Girl or some shit like Find the Girl, like it's a fucking Little Mermaid. Dude,
it's bad. That song is bad.
That record's a little rough. Maybe just like the 45 of The Breaks would be efficient. But yeah, EPMD. That's a banger, dude.
Fantastic record.
Yeah.
I wish I had something more to say, but I was so blown away and so impressed by it this week that it had to be on my subjective list because it's fucking fantastic. So
it's gotta be cool too, because you at least know I'm housing, right? Because like Rage did that song.
Rage,
But then also like You Gots to Chill, like that's been on like my hip hop playlist or various ones on Spotify for many years, and I fucking love that song. But this is the one that I found at Double Nickels for like $15, an OG copy.
For an OG. That's insane.
Which is kind of wild too, because like it could have been yours if we did this episode just a little bit sooner, right? Could have been your copy.
Wait, what do you mean a little bit? What do you mean?
Like, because you didn't know this existed, so when I bought that, you're like, oh, whatever. But like if we did this episode a year ago, you would know what it is. And maybe if you saw that, you would have bought it before me.
Oh, 100%.
Pissed me off.
Oh, that'd have been so good to piss you off. That's the best is pissing you off at a record store. When I get something that you wanted, because it rarely happens. It rarely happens. But yeah, it's so fun. So fun.
Yeah, this record's fucking good. This one in like Eric B and Rakim's, like they go back to back as just they like, and they're both from the same kind of like I think Long Island or some shit, some borough in New York, but they're both from like the same area, and they both kind of went back and forth, and both have a guy named Eric in their band, so that was also kind of confusing. But they both go back and forth with just like how they deliver lines, and EPMD. This one's a little bit, I don't know. This one's a little bit more fun because there's two kind of MCs here, and one DJ. But Eric B and Rakim's just kind of like one MC. I don't know. They're both really good. I like Eric B and Rakim a little bit more, but
I like that record a lot too, because I heard that record for the first time this week, and I really enjoyed that record. I would get it on vinyl too. I do do dig it a lot. But yeah, EPMD's Strictly Business, fantastic record. So what's your number 2?
Number 2. Oh, the album of the week, Public Enemy, Takes a Nation.
Okay, we'll get more into that on the main episode. All right, my number 2 is Beastie Boys, Paul's Boutique. This one, I mean, this is not even close to my favorite Beastie Boys record. It's fantastic, and what it did for hip hop, like you said, was significant. It's astonishing how many things that they sampled on this record. It's unreal. But that's also why they got, so many lawsuits and they got in a lot of trouble for it. And that's why a lot of hip hop changed after this record because of how much they sampled on it. But no, it's an unreal record and way fucking better than License to Ill. License to Ill is a great record. It is really good. I would never get it on vinyl. It's fun, but this is really where Beastie Boys begin. Is Paul's Boutique. Like it truly is. Nothing after License to Ill sounds like License to Ill, and that's fine. It's totally fine. It's a great record. I had fun listening to it. But
you're right. I think this is the Beastie Boys. I think License to Ill was just Rick Rubin trying to goad them into being like the next big thing. Let's just do crossover stuff, man. I'll get Kerry King in here, dude. I think, but I don't think the Beastie Boys wanted to do that shit.
We don't need the Rick Rubin, put downs, nothing like that.
Dude, there's gonna be so much. We're not even fucking close to the Rick Rubin put downs here.
So yeah, Beastie Boys, Paul's Boutique is my second favorite hip hop record from the 80s. What do you got for number 1?
Good. Yeah. So again, this is subjective. This is my personal favorite record from the 80s, hip hop wise, and it's probably not many people's favorite, but it's Eazy-E, baby boy. Easy does it. Boy, you should have known by now. Easy does it.
This record sucks.
That is this is truly my favorite record of 80s era hip hop. Like I know it's goofy. I get it. I know he didn't write his own raps, but man, dude had swagger to him. Like he lived the life he rapped about. He was gritty and tough while also being like pleasantly rambunctious. His style was unique. Okay. The sway matched with the vocals on top of like the hard street life.
It's because he didn't know what he was doing.
Or he knew exactly what he was doing.
No.
He was just like this poor like hood kid that was so excited to have anybody just listen to him that he wanted to just hang out and have fun. He wanted to hang out and do hood rat stuff with his friends. That's what he did.
That's what he did. But it's like the story with Boys in the Hood off the album. Ice Cube wrote that song, gave it to Eazy-E, and Eazy could not do it. So they literally did it line by line. He recorded every single line separately, and then they spliced it all together. That's what I'm saying. Like that's what I'm saying. Like it doesn't just because he's like a fucking gangster from Compton.
Packing a gun.
God, dude, this record is so bad. It's not good. I listened to it this week, and it's not. It's bad, dude. I shut it off like over halfway through. I just like this is just it's just there were a few of the records that I shut off like halfway through. Because it's stupid. They're not good, and this is one of them. Easy. I don't get your fascination with his music,
dude. I love Eazy. I love this record so much. This is like it wasn't even close for as far as my subjective list goes for number 1 and number 2.
You think it's better than Paul's Boutique? That's just insanity.
I don't think it's better. I just like it more. I enjoy this more, and it's just this is my first like real introduction to hip hop and. Like this is the first artist that I got into that wasn't part of a group because like I knew who the Beastie Boys were and stuff. I guess I can save that for the other part of the episode, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, I love this record.
Okay.
A lot.
That's your favorite. All right. So my number 1, my favorite hip hop record from the 80s, right now at least, it's De La Soul's 3 Feet High and Rising. This is so just equally fun. It's like it's this fun, conscious hip hop record. It's so late in the 80s, so you're hearing a lot of what you're going to hear from like Tribe. Like it's very similar to me, it's very similar to Tribe, but goofier. It's like a goofy version of that group. And I like it. It's just everybody sounds like they're having a blast. Everybody's flow is fantastic. I mean, it's straight up. It's not as fun as Beastie Boys, but it's still a ton of fun. I don't know. I love the colors on the album cover. I don't know. I don't know much. The first time I ever heard this record was when we did this record on the podcast like 2 years ago. That was the first time I ever heard it, when they put all their music back up on the streaming sites. So we listened to all of their records that week. But and that's when I really, really liked this record. I found out about this record and have it on vinyl, and I think it's a fantastic record. I really do enjoy this one.
So good.
I wish I had more to say, but I'm so new to this music.
This one's a little bit different because it hasn't been on the streaming services. I don't think ever until that time. Like I don't think it was one of those things where they had it on there and then took it down and then put it back on. I don't think it was ever on there. So like a lot of people had forgotten about De La Soul, and they became like this underground like anti-hero where it was just like, oh yeah, you like hip hop, you like what about De La Soul? Like, yeah, I like De La Soul, but you forget like how great they were,
How great they
how
were,
influential they were.
God, they were
Because like
so
Tribe is
smooth.
always there, and they are very similar to Tribe. Even Queen Latifah's first album is fucking just absolutely
Oh,
fantastic.
I wanted to listen to that this week.
God damn,
I really
that was
wanted
good.
to
Did
listen
I
to
put that in
that.
the notes?
No, you didn't put
That's
Queen
on me.
Latifah.
That's on me. That's on me.
I listened to everything, all the extracurriculars you wanted me to listen to. I listened to all of that, which we'll get into soon. But I listened to everything plus the Africa Bambaataa, which I'll get into because I do really want to talk about that one too.
Yeah, the Queen Latifah's her first record is fucking. It's pretty goddamn good. Some fillers, but pretty damn good.
I did want to check that one out.
De La Soul was just a group that like had just fallen into obscurity because of like Spotify and streaming, and that really really sucks. Because while I don't think they're like as influential probably as Tribe, and they didn't blow up as massively as Tribe did, I think I don't want to say I like him better because like Low End Theory, like get the fuck out of here. It's not better than that. But like, dude, this is so good. It's just a perfect like representation of just like daddy chill. Everything about this, aesthetically, musically, lyrically, everything about this is just calm, Afrocentric thinking.
There you go. We're De La Soul are part of the native tongue group, right? Yeah. But they predated Q-Tip and Tribe and all that.
Like maybe if they did it like by year, months, right? months.
Because Queen Latifah was part of that, the native tongues too. If I'm not mistaken.
Black Sheep, Queen Latifah.
Was Farside
Jungle
too?
Brothers? No.
Brother.
That's
Jungle what?
Farside Brothers. Jungle
That's
Brothers.
Not what you said. That's not what you said.
What did I say? Brothers?
Yeah. Like you were Jamaican or something. Oh. Yeah, like you were Jamaican.
Brothers. Right now, brothers.
Yeah.
I was actually thinking of something else, but I won't say it because it's really rude.
No, was not thinking that word.
No, I was not that. I was just thinking that was.
Oh,
it was just. It wasn't like a racial thing. It was a rude thing. Like I was thinking of somebody who speaks. Now we're getting too far into that, and that's really rude.
Yeah, I'm. We should cut it off right there.
Rude, dude. Hey, dude.
Once again, we're just a couple white dudes talking about hip hop, but
two dudes shitting around.
So that's my number one, De La Soul, 3 Feet High and Rising.
Good.
Now let's get into the objective stuff. Stuff we listened to a lot of hip hop, like I said, and now we're going to get into what we think are the top 5 best records from the decade. We pretty much feel the same way about most of these. There's going to be a lot of overlap here, but what do you got for? What do you think is number 5, 5th best, objectively not this week in the 80s? Go.
Yeah, this has to be there, even though I don't own it anymore. But Raising Hell, Run DMC. This isn't just a retread of their first records. This is them becoming just like insanely confident in themselves. Their first records were just full of stuff they had already written and had written like down growing up. And like the song structures were very much like, okay, you rap, I rap, you scratch, song, done. And like, that's cool because this genre is still like up and coming and it's still forming. I get it. But man, even though I hate it, they got Rick Rubin to do this one. And that was like a match made in heaven because Run already wanted to do a more rambunctious style, maybe not necessarily a rock thing, but most of this record, if actually all of this record, was written while they were on tour. So after every show, they would sit down in their van. They go, okay, what worked tonight? Like what was fucking cool? What did people like the most? Let's just up that to like the next degree. And these aren't like rock guys. Like they know what rock is and they've heard like Hendrix and shit, but they don't know what like rock music is. So they hook up with Rick Rubin, and Rick Rubin's just a fucking long-haired hippie fucking pothead guitar player, right? And then he has this massive wall of vinyl, and he just shows them all this stuff, and he has hookups, and he knows rock music, and so like it was exactly what kind of like this era of hip hop needed, and especially this record. And this is their favorite record, like Run DMC. This is their favorite record. And it's just, it's a great rap rock record. And it's
fantastic.
It's also super dope to think just how great Jam Master Jay was. Also like when you talk about like DJ Jazzy Jeff, dude, for sure, underrated like DJ, but also like Jam Master Jay, like it's just a guy that he doesn't get enough recognition. He was truly the backbone of this group. And if you watch like their live shows, dude, all vinyl, no tape. This is before like digital audio tapes, so no DATs, no band. Yeah. It's just straight DJing, cutting edge lyrics and formats. And he just had a fucking stack of vinyl, and that's what they did. wild.
It is. It's fucking cool, man. Imagine having to carry around those crates of records to every city, to every club. What a pain in the
Just so
ass.
cool. It's just so cool.
It's such a pain in the ass, though.
It's like a drummer, right? Like you're the
Yeah,
drummer
that's
of the
true,
band.
yeah.
Like nobody helps you. You load all your own shit in. While the singer's dicking around, goofing off, getting drunk, like you're still working, setting up. Ugh.
All right. My number 5, I think, objectively, I think this is a very important record. My number 5 is De La Soul's 3 Feet High and Rising. So I think this is so important because it bridges the gap into conscious hip hop, into hip hop in the 90s, which is obviously wildly significant. Like we talked about, Tribe Called Quest, Wu-Tang Clan, a lot of the 90s conscious hip hop, Nas, all that stuff, I feel like stems directly from De La Soul. Yeah, they're goofy, and obviously Nas is not goofy at all. And Tribe is everybody's more serious than De La Soul, let's just say that. But this is the perfect bridge into what we saw in the 90s. So I think this record is very, very significant in my little bit of knowledge of hip hop. I feel it's very, very significant. And that's why it's the number 5 slot.
Good.
Because also underground hip hop, it's not mainstream. It's not your Biggie. It's not your Tupac, Dr. Dre, or anything like that. But it's still very, very important. And that's why it needs to be put in the top 5.
Sure.
And not forgotten about. So what do you got for number 2 or 4? Jesus Christ.
It is not in my top 5 though. De La Soul is not in my top 5. I think hip hop would have gotten there without them. And specifically like Jungle Brothers had already did it without them. They did it better, or De La Soul did it better than Jungle Brothers, but it was already going that way anyway. Queen Latifah did it.
It was, but
I just don't think it needs to be in the top 5.
But it's objectively a better record than the Jungle Brothers. I can't say for Queen Latifah, sure. But see that's why I wouldn't
record too.
But that's why I wouldn't put Jungle Brothers at number 5. I'd put De La Soul because it is a better record and it does bridge that gap. Yeah, they might not have done it first, but that's fine. It bridged the gap between 80s hip hop and what we saw as conscious underground hip hop in the 90s.
Yeah, but it wasn't like, for me, it wasn't them. They didn't do it. It was a movement. It, like specifically the native tongues, right? There was a movement of people. Yeah. Like it was a lot of things happening. It wasn't, De La Soul didn't do anything themselves. Like Run DMC with Raising Hell. Like
I agree with that.
Specific thing did something. So that's just where
you can't. But it's hard to compare mainstream hip hop with underground hip hop.
I mean, the really 80s, all hip hop is underground hip hop. All 80s hip hop is underground hip hop.
I disagree with that. It's
all underground hip hop.
I'll get into it in a bit. What do you got for number 4?
Number 4, Straight Outta Compton, crazy motherfucking name Ice Cube. NWA, Straight Outta Compton, number 4.
Okay. All right.
This is this may be one of the most important records in hip hop because just how aggressive it is, and we'll talk about one of the most aggressive records ever, really, on their album of the week. But Straight Outta Compton is just, man, that is just so fucking punk. It is so in your face.
Yeah, it's wildly aggressive,
but it's top heavy. But it needs to be here because it did something for hip hop. It did something for music.
Yeah, I'll get into it when I get into Straight Outta Compton. So my number 4 is Public Enemy's "It Takes a Nation." That's my number 4, but that's the album of the week. So we'll get into that one later. So what do you got for number 3?
Number 3, Paul's Boutique, the Beastie Boys. I feel like all five of my objective ones. Like I mean, I don't know everything about hip hop. I'm not. This is not my forte, really. So I like it a lot. I listen to a lot of it, but I don't know everything about it. But I feel like all 5 of mine. I'm pretty proud of this list. I feel like all 5 of mine needed to happen in hip hop. If you took any one of these things out, the trajectory. That's a tough word. That's a tough word. It sounds like you're talking like this. The trajectory of hip hop would have been vastly different. I thought I'd do the thumb like that, like the George Bush thumb. That's gross.
Yeah, I don't know. You do that a lot.
The G-Dub T's right there. Yeah, the trajectory of hip hop would have been vastly different. You take any one of these top 5s out, and I think everything would have changed. So Beastie Boys, Paul's Boutique.
Yeah, we already got into this. We don't need to go further.
Correct.
But my number 3 is Run DMC's "Raising Hell." I think this record is more significant than you think it is because this one it brought a lot of hip hop to the mainstream with the Aerosmith collaboration. There's that, along with they were the first ones to not have like a like a goofy. I mean, they had a gimmick with the Adidas and dressing like normal dudes on the street, but they didn't have like a choreographed dance. They didn't have like uniforms. They just kind of dressed however they wanted to dress. But then they created this movement. They did this thing with Adidas. They were the first hip hop group to sign. I think they were the first hip hop group to strike a deal with a big sponsor, like a corporation like Adidas. They were the first non-sporting entity to be sponsored by Adidas, which is
this is top 5 for me. What do you mean? Like, I think this is for sure top 5. This is better. I mean, this is more influential than License to Ill. I don't know why you have License to Ill in your fucking top 5. I'm gonna rail you on that one. But yeah, this is top 5 for sure.
I think this is a wildly important record for hip hop and music in general. Breaking down the barriers. And then, so in the hip hop documentary, did you see, I think it was with the Run DMC section when they were talking about hanging out with Blondie and shit.
Yeah.
Like, cause at the time they were able to only really play, Rapture. They would go to like to Manhattan to the Lower East Side or whatever. I don't know fucking New York at all, but they would go to Manhattan and like the only clubs that they were allowed to play were the punk clubs. And like Blondie or Debbie Herring, she loved hip hop, so she ended up making a hip hop song as well, or Blondie did, or whatever.
Rapture from Auto American.
Yeah, it's fucking the whole how everything was intertwined in New York with punk and hip hop and new wave and all that stuff. Super fucking cool. Cool.
This is Blondie like 4 records deep, right? So this is already after Parallel Lines had blown up, and like that record is fucking perfect.
God, that record is so good.
So now we get like Blondie's coming in to these like underground kind of like punk hip hop shows.
Yeah.
And
this
she
little blonde girl. She's like probably 5'3", 5'4".
In a band full of people that like, who gives a fuck about like the band members of Blondie, because none of them are really great anyway. They're just there because Debbie Harry is super attractive and they make amazing pop songs.
Yeah.
But yeah. And then she releases Rapture. Like, have you heard that song Rapture? I'm sure you probably fucking heard it. Like,
yeah, they played it in the documentary.
Dude, that song's stupid. It is fucking dumb. But it's like
stupid,
like an early, essentially it's an early non-black person doing rap.
Yeah.
And that's something, dude. But that song fucking
dude.
sucks, man. That song's not good.
It's cheesy. It's very, very cheesy. I remember in the documentary too, they were talking about when Run DMC blew up with Walk This Way, everybody was trying to do it. So then like they played that clip of Rodney Dangerfield. He tried to like do a hip hop song or a hip hop album. Do you remember that shit? It was so fucking bad. Oh my God. But like everybody was trying to do it. All these white guys were trying to do it.
Yeah. And that's why like Run DM, like you could essentially take Beastie Boys License to Ill.
I would actually, now that I'm thinking about it and I'm talking about it now, Beastie Boys would be dropped to 3 and then Run DMC would be put up to number 2 on my list. My objective.
I want to get into the Beastie Boys thing, but my 2 B is Eric B and Rakim, Paid in Full. That just showed like lyrically, or not lyrically, actually lyrically too, but how we say words can also mean some things. Words are like bullets. How we say these words can also be like a vessel for the message we are getting through. And that's why I think that one's super important. But let's get back into the Beastie Boy thing, because that's your number 2.
Yeah, that's my number 2. Well, I'm going to put it down to my number 3, but let's just... Yeah,
even if it was your number 3 too, I really do think you can just omit License to Ill entirely from this list.
See, I don't know. I disagree. I disagree with
you.
Give
me why you think it should be here. Go.
Because Run DMC was huge for Def Jam Records for Rick Rubin, but Beastie Boys were almost as big for them because these are white kids coming into the hip hop scene, still being very well respected. It seems very well respected within the scene, and making that gap into like white America, like more, just a lot broader, and bringing a lot more kids into the whole hip hop scene, because
like
the way that they
of hip hop,
because
kinda?
I guess kind of putting it with this record at least, and the way that they infused punk and metal into the hip hop was way better than what Run DMC did with Aerosmith. I mean, because a lot of the sampling and the rock stuff that they were doing on License to Ill is significantly better than that one song, because we all know Aerosmith. Whatever.
Their first record's fine. It's very bluesy. It's fun, but man, I still don't give a shit.
Yeah, who really cares? Well, a lot of people care, but yeah, no, the Beastie Boys License to Ill, it's a solid record. It's definitely not. It's like one of my least favorite Beastie Boys records, but I feel like it's very, very important. And also, Rick, love him or hate him, and you hate him mostly, Rick Rubin is extremely important to the scene, and him bringing in Beastie Boys, being friends with them, all that kind of shit was really, really significant for hip hop. So
okay.
here's why.
Here's the path I took this week. Here's the path I took this week. Did you remember that article I sent you? That fucking boring ass article like a week ago. Did you read it? I don't know if you read it. You probably didn't read it. But
I usually read everything, but what
I sent you an article about It Takes a Nation. It was called Noise.
Are you sure you sent me an article?
Yeah, I did. I said, I'm going to read this too. And he said, oh, I'll read it too. It was fucking, dude, it took me almost a week to get through it because it was so
you're right.
Academic and boring.
I do remember you sent me the link, but I didn't read it. Yeah, I did not read it.
So, man, the way I kind of see like hip hop now is even though it probably may be for the best that Rick Rubin got involved, but he got involved in hip hop for like all of the wrong reasons. He took hip hop from the people that like started it, and he turned it into what the people that started it did not want it to become. And again,
that's a good point.
Good or bad, I don't know. That's where we're at now. It happened. But a lot of people did not like this shit when it came out because this is not hip hop. This is a rock record. This is like Blondie's fucking Rapture. This is stupid. And then you read like some of the best songs that I think here, like Paul Revere, I think is a super deep cut. That's an absolute banger.
Song. That's a
Slow and Low, absolute banger. Those were also co-written by fucking Run DMC. It's like, my God, dude. So your best songs like aren't even really your songs because Rick Rubin had a hand in writing everything. And the Beast Boys hated this record too. They were like, this is not
that's
who
why
we
they
fucking
didn't make
want to be.
Another record like it. Yeah.
Ever. Like they hated this shit. They did not like this. So I think this record
and then they had the falling out with Rick Rubin and Def Jam and all that kind of shit after this record.
Because they don't pay nothing. Because Rick Rubin's like, oh, I helped you write all these songs. Like, fun fucking no, you didn't. So whatever.
Well, you don't know. You weren't there.
I was there. Were you there? Hold on. Yeah, he said he wasn't there. I'm talking to Rick Rubin.
Oh, you are? Oh, he's there right now?
That was actually a lie. That was actually a lie. Because he would never be allowed in my house. Out of spite.
Wow. Okay.
Out of spite. So I don't think I think you can take License to Ill out of this, and I think the trajectory of hip hop would be exactly the same. I don't think there'd be anything different.
No. I do agree that, what Rick was doing, it was more for his own profit, his own gain, ego, and to make hip hop blow up, and it took away from what hip hop truly was. I agree with you on that, but then because this album came out and it did blow up the way it did, and Run DMC blew up the way they did, I don't feel like we would have had the big acts like what happened in the West Coast with all the gangster rap, and then all the stuff that happened in New York in the early mid 90s as well with Biggie and Little Kim and all that. No, I don't feel like, because all of the stuff in the 90s.
What does any of that have to do with Beastie Boys? Especially like this rock rap record.
Because what it shows is that License to Ill and Run DMC, those records, and Raising Hell,
two bands there, dude.
I know. Okay, so License to Ill and Raising Hell were two records that kind of proved that hip hop artists could be rock stars, because this put both of those bands on the rock star status that no other band had done before. So without this mass, what am I trying to say? This exposure of hip hop, I feel like we wouldn't have gotten acts like a lot of the shit that was happening in the 90s, like I like Biggie, Tupac, all that kind of stuff. Even me, NWA is a stretch because that was just such a bubble that was ready to burst. But I feel like especially New York hip hop in the 90s, the little bit I know of New York hip hop in the 90s, that was all about, being a rock star, the champagne, the big parties, the women. It was just all about that. And I feel like had it not been for the late 80s with Run DMC and Beastie Boys, you wouldn't have had the rock star stuff of the 90s. So that's why I think it's important.
All I'm saying is that you take License to Ill out of there. That's it. You don't need it there.
Okay.
Run DMC already had 2 albums prior to this.
They did.
This Raising Hell came out before License to Ill did. So talking about rock stars, like Walk This Way is bigger than anything on License to Ill. It is.
It is. Yeah. No, you're right.
That like truly like bridged the gap between like underground black hip hop and white people. Like, holy shit.
It was the beginning of it. It was the biggest, but it was the beginning of it. But then Beastie Boys' License to Ill solidified it.
No.
It did.
Nah.
Anyway,
Rick Rubin solidified that.
And he's a part of both records.
Yeah, I know.
Yes. So
and one of them,
you
one of,
just
and
proved
one
my
of them
point.
is,
okay.
and one of them is vastly overrated and did not need to happen. And one of them is insanely influential.
Correct.
That is
Well,
one of the best
okay.
80s hip hop records of all time.
Let's move on to your number one. We're just going in circles here. What's your number one?
I don't think all your points.
I understand what you're saying.
All of your points involved Raising Hell or Run DMC and BC Boys, whereas none of
they're
your
both
points
very influential and important.
Well, we're not talking about both of them because you only have five in your top five, right? So if the two that are almost identical is Raising Hell and License to Ill, one of them's got to go because one of them is nearly as good.
If one of them had to go, then it would be Beastie Boys.
Of course, it would be Beastie Boys,
but it's still extremely important in hip hop.
It is very important, but it's not top 5 important. It's top 10 important for sure, not top 5.
Well, let's get into your number one. What's your number one?
Album of the week, babe boy.
Really, that's your number one. Holy shit.
Absolutely. I think objectively this is the best hip hop record of the 80s. Absolutely.
Wow. Okay.
Without a doubt. Like, it's not even close.
All right, my number one is NWA Straight Outta Compton. Straight Outta Compton. Jesus, why do we just...
Ice Cube. I have my hat flipped up, tail like Ice Cube. You see that?
I do see that. God, what an opening line! What an opening line!
Flip.
And in the video too, the way he's like strutting down the sidewalk and everything too. Like,
all cocky.
He's gonna like kill anybody that gets in his way. But yeah, I mean, we've already said a lot about Straight Outta Compton. This to me is the most important. I think this is This and The Chronic are the most important hip hop records of all time, hands down. They are the most important records ever.
Do you think there's a little bit of a bias there, a little West Coast bias there?
No, I don't. I really don't.
Being from the West Coast, being from LA.
No, I don't care. No,
Gotcha.
I don't
Okay.
care.
All right.
Even though like 90s, like mainstream.
Sound like Will when you're doing like, no.
I miss Dudesy so much.
Getting Jonesing over here.
I know. I thought about restarting that podcast, but it's not going to hit the same. It's just not going to hit the same. But anyway, yeah, NWA Straight Outta Compton, my number one. I think this is one of the most important records in hip hop. It ushered in a brand new era. It ushered in the feuds that we've never seen prior to this. You have the East Coast, West Coast. I mean, it didn't start it, but it definitely was the. I guess it started it, kind of. I don't know. Anyway, it's just there's so much history behind this, and we've talked about this album extensively we did an episode in 2021, I believe it was 2021, where we broke down this record, and it was a good one.
That was the last year.
It's 2024, dude.
I know, like it was last. I think we did this in 2023.
No, we did the Chronic in. Hold on, let me see.
I think we did Chronic in 2021, and we did this one in 2023.
NWA. Actually, it's not even. It must be on a lost episode because it's not showing up on Spotify. So maybe you can't listen to it. Oops. I did it again. We did the Chronic. Dude, why is nothing coming up? Anyway, it doesn't matter. We've done these on the podcast. And yeah, November 2021, we did the Chronic. There we go. So anyway, that's our subjective, our favorites, and our objectives from the 80s.
That's
so
it, baby, look at that. Did it?
Like I said in the beginning, you put a list up on our notes about like extracurricular stuff to listen to, and I listen to everything. I listen to all my vinyls, my Jungle Brothers and my Young MC record, stuff we haven't even talked about much. But let's get into some of this shit right here. So Slick Rick.
Uncle Ricky, will you read me a bedtime story?
It was fine.
Dude, that song, that's a children's story. I think that is the best storytelling in all of 80s hip hop.
Okay.
And here we go. His little fucking eye patch and his little fucking, I talk like this, Not really talk like that much though. But yeah, it's perfect storytelling in hip hop.
Yeah, I didn't listen. I only listened to the one song.
That's all you needed to.
Yeah.
That's fine.
And then I listened to the Ice-T record, Rhyme Pays. This record sucked. I shut it off halfway through. It's funny though. Because you can hear like the gangster rap influence, but just based on like horrible electro hip hop beats. Dude, you can make the argument for this. You can make the argument that this is the birth of gangster rap. Is this Ice-T record, hands down?
I think it is. Yes.
It's West Coast. It's LA. But he wasn't actually like watching that documentary. He wasn't actually like in a gang. He says he was a gang affiliate. he wasn't in a gang, but he was a gang affiliate. And I'm like, damn, I kind of like that. Like, I like that he was like, he doesn't try to be a gangster or anything like that, but he was around
except for the fact that he's typecasted. And how does he talk in every fucking role? He's like, yeah,
that's true. Yeah.
Fuck yeah. I'm fucking part of NCIS. Or where the fuck show he's in? Criminal Mind. Where the fuck is he in?
I think it's NCIS or is it SVU?
No,
SVU.
SVU, Special Victims Unit, right?
Yeah, Special Victims Unit. Yeah.
Yeah. SVU.
What does SUV mean again? SUV?
Suburban Assault Vehicle. Nope. Suburban.
Well, no. We're not talking about Limp Bizkit. Anyway.
Urban Assault Vehicle. There it is. That's what it is. Suburban Assault Vehicle.
Not even.
Dude, that's why I should name my Xterra. Suburban Assault Vehicle.
God damn.
Gotta continue the joke.
Anyway, Ice-T, Rhyme Pays. I just don't think this is a very good record. And on Spotify, like the mastering of it is just terrible. So it's like you'll get one song that's super quiet. The next song's really fucking loud for no reason. Like it's all over the fucking place. I just did not like this at all. And then I listened to that MC Light song, or maybe it's an album, Light as a Rock. It was fine.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool.
It's just like one of the first like females in hip hop. So it's just,
it was fun. It was
influential.
Reminding me of Salt and Peppa, things like that. 2 Live Crew. Nasty As You Want to Be. Of course, this is a classic, iconic record. And watching the documentary, watching the Miami episode, or like the Southern episode of that documentary, which is the first episode of the second season.
Spoilers here. I haven't got that far.
Oh, you haven't gone that far? Oh, okay. Well, I only watched it because they talked a lot about 2 Live Crew and Uncle Luke.
But yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and Uncle Luke and how, he was in 2 Live Crew, but if it wasn't for him, that group would have gone nowhere. Literally fucking nowhere had it not been for Uncle Luke.
They're playing. They're Uncle Luke is 2 Live Crew.
He is. Yeah. He took an existing crew, put himself into the group, and put out Nasty As You Want to Be, and
but
that
also
record,
all the lawsuits them into like historicness based off of lewdness, right?
Yeah.
And it's like they weren't the first group to be attacked by the PMRC, but like when Twisted Sister was attacked, like nobody was getting arrested, nobody was getting handcuffed on stage as they were performing. They were just getting sued in like court. It's like the big difference was like, oh, it's because we're black now. And it's like, damn, dude, they were like the police and I think it was like Broward County, or where the fuck it was in Florida. They're like, if you fucking play that song, you're gonna get arrested. It's like, all right, we won't play it. And I was like, oh, me so horny. And it's like, oh my God, dude, that's so fucking cool. Yeah, fuck that shit. Fuck you, Tipper Gore.
Then there's the famous video of the record store owner getting arrested because he's selling the CD.
Get out of here,
damn, dude, that
like,
shit is
nothing
insane.
Fucking better to do.
That is insane. That is somebody's being arrested for selling a CD.
But that was like the big difference, nuts. Right? Because like D. Snyder, like nobody was getting arrested for this shit. But all of a sudden, 2 Live Crew were getting arrested. It's like, well, why do you think they're getting arrested, dude?
Yeah, I totally agree with you, man.
And that record's fucking amazing too. It's just like
it is a good record.
It's a good party record,
dude. It's great, and it's so bassy. And like reading more about it, dude, that was the whole Miami sound was bass.
That's the sound, baby boy.
Fucking bass.
Yep.
And they would talk about how they would just have like walls of speakers, like at these shows, and they wouldn't even it wouldn't even have like a melody. It would just be these fucking bass beats, and it was just so fun. And then they would MC over it, and it was just party till 4 a.m, 5 a.m.
Oh, it's so fun.
Wild, man, dude. Miami in the 80s must have been absolutely fucking insane.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I can't even fucking imagine what it was like.
Yeah.
Anyway, so 2 Live Crew. And then, Big Daddy Kane, Long Live. This was a great fucking record. I was
so smooth. Isn't he so smooth?
He has this deep voice, and his flow is extremely smooth.
He's so cocky, and he's so full of himself, and he's so confident that it's just like, damn, man, whatever you say, I'm going to listen to.
But it works. I
love Big
lives
Daddy
up
Kane.
to it. Yeah. With that name, I thought, damn, dude, that's a dumb fucking name. And I had low expectations, but no, it was solid. And then you had me listen to Biz Markie, Going Off. Dude, this is good.
Yeah, his first record's fucking amazing.
It's really good. Like I've always kind of like, not shunned him, but always kind of not really cared because the one song. But damn, dude, it's fucking good. And then the stuff that he's done with the Beastie Boys has always been really fun, really cool. This Going Off record it was fantastic. Too Short.
Produced by Marley Marl, baby.
and I listened to that. It was fine. It's very like
It's important.
very
It's important.
very drum machine heavy, drum heavy, which is cool. I mean, that's a whole nother thing we could get into, like the way hip hop progressed throughout the 80s. You know, it was very electro. It got into like this just drum machine stuff. Like it just went through these weird kind of eras in such a short amount of time, which is cool. But Too Short, Life Is, I didn't care for this one. This is a record I see all the time at record stores, and it looks cool, but I listened to it and I thought it was so lackluster.
This is people love this record, and this is another one that people think is kind of like an early kind of like gangster rappy thing. And
yeah,
I like the way he says these things. I like the way he delivers these rhymes because it's very Eric B. and Rakim. It's very slow and deliberate, but it's so fucking boring. And I mean, dude,
this is one of the records that
Short.
I shut it off halfway through. I'm like, and then I skimmed through the rest of it, and I don't get it. It's not for me. Just not.
And he has so many records too, and I don't fucking like Too Short. I just don't like him.
But that record, the Life Is record, that is just, like I said, I see that record everywhere I go.
That's like his fucking fifth or sixth record.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Nuts. It's just boring ass West Coast like hardcore shit. I can't stand Too Short.
All right.
Funny story, funny anecdote about Too Short real quick is a person we used to work with at Dave & Buster's went to a Too Short concert, and this is like 2018, 2017, 2019, probably 2017, 16. But he's mouthing off to a bunch of people, and he got beat so bad he almost died.
Too Short or the friend?
No, I don't call him a friend, but
acquaintance.
Yeah, like we worked
Holy
with him.
Shit.
He was a nice guy. I had nothing against him. He was mouthing off to the wrong people, and like his eyeball was popping out and shit. Like he almost fucking died.
Holy fuck!
And I was like, "What were you mouthing off at a Too Short concert for? You fucking idiot!" And it was in Oakland. That's where Too Short from. Like mouth in
is
Oakland.
he white? Is he white or
yeah?
Your friend,
of course.
or the acquaintance?
Yeah, he's a fucking idiot. Of course.
That's okay. Fucking going into Oakland,
like a normal fucking person that is sticking out like a sore thumb at a Too Short concert in Oakland is gonna mind your P's and Q's, you know. I'm probably gonna pay a little extra to get like 4 seats because security's right there, and I'm gonna drink my beer and I'm gonna chill.
Yeah,
daddy chill.
All right.
Yeah, I remember he almost died. He came to work like fucking like weeks after it happened, and his face was still like that, like sideways. I was like, damn.
That's wild.
That was good. He lived.
Oh shit. All right. So then the last thing really is Schoolie D Saturday Night. I don't remember anything about this. I don't at all. Yeah.
Just Schoolie D was highly influential. People love Schoolie D, so I threw it on there.
Okay. And another record I want to talk about that I listened to today was Africa Bambaataa. I guess that's how you pronounce it. I've always pronounced it wrong, but it's Bambaataa.
It's not Bambaataa?
It's Bambaataa. Yeah.
Bambaataa? That's stupid.
That's how they were saying it in the documentary. But the album Planet Rock, I listened to that today. It's fun. It's fun.
Good. It's a good record.
It's so synth heavy, but it works, man. And it's fun. It's bouncy. The rapping's really good. I did. It's a great fucking record. I mean, it sucks now. That come to find out, like in 2016, he's a giant sex pest, and he's
a disgusting human being,
child trafficking, all this fucking nasty shit. But I mean, you can't deny what he was doing in the 80s and 90s was wildly, massively influential in hip hop with the Zulu Nation and all that.
Following
kind of, shit.
Of people, like it was like influential was almost like an understatement. He had like a following, a mass following of people
around the world. Like the Zulu Nation had it. It was almost like it was like its own, like not gang, but it was its own organization with different chapters all around the world. And I think at some point they had like 250 chapters around the world. And then when he eventually got kicked out of the Zulu Nation in 2016, after everything came out, everybody just said, you know what, fuck you, you're out. Like it's fucked. Like a lot of allegations, a lot of lawsuits against him. Never recovered. But yeah, anyway. So yeah, that Africa Bambaataa was good, man. It was good. I'd get it on vinyl. I would get it on vinyl.
I was gonna say, for me, it's not vinyl worthy, but it's good. It was good.
It's fun, man. It's like
We just buy
9
anything,
songs.
so it doesn't
It's
matter.
9 songs, like 50 minutes. It's fucking stupid. The songs, like Renegades of Funk is like a 6-minute song. Come on. Rage put it down to like 3.5 minutes. It's good. Good stuff. But it's been
You
a fun
did it.
week. It's been a fun
You did it,
week.
Hair?
Breaking down 80s, the 80s era of hip hop. Next week, obviously, we're doing the 90s, but we're going to break it down regionally. We're doing East, West, South, Midwest, right? Those are the four areas we're doing in the 90s. So that'll be different. It'll be fun. I'm not going to tell you what we're doing next week, but I don't even think we have a final decision on it. But anyway,
We're kind of like on the fence about some stuffs.
yeah. But anyway, stay tuned for the main episode. We're getting into Public Enemies. It takes a nation of millions to hold us back. Did I get it? Yes, to hold us back. Yes, I have it right here on my computer monitor. Right here on my monitor. Can't see it, but I have it.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, thank you all for listening. Go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, give us 5 stars, tell your friends, share all the posts, and that's it. That's all.